Hello, thank you for joining me for Pick a Card. Got three packs of cards for you to choose from again. So pack one, two, three. So either pick a number or pick the back that you like. Okay, one, two, three. Now I'm just going to put these two aside for a moment. We'll go to deck number one, and this is for people who chose number one. I have shuffled the cards already, but just to show you that I do shuffle them. Okay, so let's just pick a card. Okay, the moon. Right then, so let's pop that on there. Okay, there you go. Alright, well, first and foremost, what's standing out straight away to me are those walls in the background. And I actually like walls. Walls are very pack orientated, they're very family orientated. They're very loyal to each other as well. They fight for their families. That's the first thing that I'm picking up about that card. It's almost like that woman standing there, keeping her family in the background, protecting her family. So for those of you who pick number one, maybe that's you. Somebody who is very loyal to your family. If somebody said boo to a family member, you'd be up there with a couple of machetes, a couple of sawn off shotguns or whatever. Hopefully not that bad, but you get my drift. You'd be up there ready to flatten them. So your family is very, very important to you, and not just your immediate family. This is extended family as well. You're also someone who's not afraid of going to places you've never been to. You're not afraid of treading the unknown path. Like that woman there, she's got the twig that's the what they call them, the lanterns. You can see there the branch that's on fire to light her path. So she's quite happy to use natural light to see where she's going. She's using the moonlight as well. You can see the moon at the top, and that um, at the trees in the background, the willow trees in the background. You can see the way they're hanging the willow trees, and they are in the background. The willow tree is often a symbol of um, remorse and sadness. They're beautiful trees, but they do often symbolize, let's say, remorse and sadness, but they're in the background. So whatever it is that's upset you, number one, whatever it is that's upset you, it's now in the background. You're moving away from it. You may have had to take a path or a decision that you weren't sure about to move away, but you're not afraid of taking that decision. You're not afraid of moving forward. You've got your family with you. They're also loyal to you because they know that you're a strong person. And although you're quite an independent person as well, you still want to protect your family. So when you look at that moon as well, that's a waning moon. It's on its way out. It's like third quarter moon. Now that's symbolic of something that's coming to an end, and maybe you're not sure of what's going to happen in the future. But as I say, you're someone that's not afraid to walk an untrodden path. You know that in the woods are full of natural things, which the earth gives us everything we need anyway. So there's no problem of being worried about what's in nature. As I say, the wolves symbolise loyalty, and people who were there who were loyal to you, your family, for instance. So you shouldn't be afraid. You've got the growth on the willow trees, although this tree in the foreground is quite bare. But I always say to people, when you've got a tree like this, it doesn't mean that the tree is dead, because the life lives under the roots, underground in the roots. And as it gets watered, it begins to grow again, and the life goes up the trunk, and the leaves start to shoot. It's also a card symbolising that you need to listen to your intuition more. Listen to that little voice inside your head. If you're not sure how, then meditation is a good way. You can start getting in touch with that little voice when you start meditating. So that's always a good idea, a good thing to try. So give that a go. I'm still going back to the walls because they do stand out to me for some reason. The other thing I'm thinking of, the wolves are Odin's creature. Odin is the Allfather of the Norse pantheon, and he has two wolves. They are symbols of, or messengers, I should say. They go back to tell Odin what's happening in the world. The same as his two ravens do as well, although there's no ravens in this particular card. The wolves are watching, taking everything back to the source. So this is a card also telling you, watch out for karma, watch out for people who don't mean you well. But above all, it's you that needs to be sincere and use integrity in everything you do. Because if you don't, the wolves will take it back to source. Simple as that. It's karma. Whatever we do, it comes back to us. So try to keep all your dealings with other people as sincere and as honest as you possibly can. Sometimes I know it can be a bit difficult, especially when we don't want to worry other people, but sometimes you need to be very upfront with people and you need to tell them the truth. So don't be afraid of doing that. And people can often accept a lot more than what you give them credit for. Like the wolves, for instance. The same, getting the feeling this is family members at the back. So they often don't need as much protection as what you may think. And sometimes it's okay to let go and let them make their own decisions and let them make their own mistakes as well. Because we only learn from making our mistakes. It's what we do once we realise we've made a mistake that counts. Because mistakes can often be put right. Not every time, but most times they can be put right. And it's how we do that. Now, if you look at this person as well, she's got keys now. But she has to find the doors that those keys fit. So she's got talents, hidden talents, that are not being brought to the surface. So is this you, people who chose number one? Have you got some talents that maybe you're not using that could actually prove either lucrative monetary wise or could actually prove very calming and beneficial health wise? Have a look, probably something very creative because the moon deals with our emotions and creativity. So take a look at that. You've got the mist, you've got a little bit of water there again, symbolizing the emotions. And the mist symbolizes clouded emotions. So maybe these are some decisions that you need to make, number one, people. Possibly some important decisions that you're not sure which way to go because you're not sure of the outcome. The way to decide is to look at what no longer benefits you. Look at those things that have outgrown their use, things that you can get rid of. Because as I say, that's a waning moon. It's coming to an end. So look at all those things that you no longer need. What's been left lying around for years and years. Time to get rid of it. And then once you've done that, look at what new things that you can bring into your life. You're not afraid, you're quite independent. It's just the getting the emotions unclouded. The fire there also represents a little bit of activity, and you need to get the activity moving a little bit more. It's not very substantial. A lot of smoke, but you need more fire. So for those of you who are planning to do things and haven't yet started because you're a bit worried about the outcomes or a bit worried about where it will take you, this card is saying, well, don't really worry, trust in the signals that you're getting, ask for signs, but also know that you're quite a strong, independent person. What you give out will come back to you. So try to give out as much good and benefit to others that you can, because is what will come back to you. You're being watched. And don't worry about where you're going. You have an inner light that will take you in the right direction. And look for those doors that those keys will open. So another way of putting that, get off your backside and get it done. There you go. Okay, so that's card number one for those of you who chose number one. Thank you. I hope you like that card. I think that's a lovely moon card. So go to card number two. Okay, this is card number two, and this deck is the Pagan cat deck, and I can't remember who designed this one. Let me just see if I can find it. Okay, this is Tarot of the Pagan Cats by Magdelina Messina. There you go. Okay, so then one last shuffle. Okay, so card number two. This is the Two of Swords. Okay, there we've got a new moon. Straight away, new moon is new beginnings. Looks like you've got choices to make, those of you who chose this card. There's a cat walking blindfolded between two swords. Quite agile. Cats are very agile. Let me just pop it on there, so bring it a bit forward so you can see it better. There you go. So Here we have a Felix look-alike cat walking amongst two swords or between two swords on a tightrope. That might be how you feel at the moment with some people. Maybe there's a couple of people around you at the moment who are arguing and you feel like you're in the middle of it, walking on eggshells, walking on a tightrope between other people. Sometimes you try to keep the peace and you try to be diplomatic, you try to bring people together. Sometimes it's actually best to say, just get on with it, let them sort it out for themselves. Why should you allow other people to bring you down? Why should you allow other people to bring your emotional, your mental well being down? Because that's what it does to you. So if people are warring around you, just let them get on with it, let them sort it out themselves. Sometimes people need to show each other who is more dominant. They need to learn for themselves about what dominance, what also helping others is about, compassion, consideration. These are all things that people need to learn. Normally we learn them as children, but sometimes people get to adulthood and still haven't learned properly. We probably all know somebody like that, so let them get on with it. Why should you have to walk the tightrope between them? Why should you have to walk on eggshells? What have you done to deserve that? Take your blindfold off and say to them, just get on with it. I'm fed up of keeping my mouth shut. I'm fed up of trying to be nice. I'm fed up of trying to be diplomatic to both of you. Maybe it's you that's one of those warring factions and you're trying to compromise. Sometimes you can't compromise. Sometimes you have to say, hang on a minute. If we do it this way, it's not going to be the right thing. If we do it that way, it will be better. But make sure you know where you're coming from. Make sure that you've got all your facts if you do that. Do your research. Make sure that you're not the one on the other end who's making the mistakes. And if you are somebody who's saying, I want it done this way, and then you realise it's not the best way, be the person who is not afraid to actually admit that you've made the mistake. When we admit that we've made a mistake, it clears up so much quicker. If you don't admit it, it lingers in the air. And we've all been there. You all know what I'm talking about. So don't be afraid to say, oh, sorry, I've made a mistake. Okay, so you've got the two swords. As I said right at the beginning as well, this could also be a decision that you need to make. Number two, people. And sometimes decisions can be a little bit hard. Maybe we need a bit of guidance or support in making those decisions. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is ruled by the moon. As I say, that's a new moon that's been shown there. So this is new beginnings, new starts. So it could be something that, a decision that you need to make to do with something new that is beginning for you. You've got the new moon reflected in the water as well. The water symbolises your emotions. So again, this is telling you to trust in your intuition. You've got all the grass at the bottom, which is vegetation. That's growing quite nicely. Look how green it is. It's been well watered. The swords themselves are standing upright, solid. The rope itself is stretched, solid. So you've got everything around you is preparing you for whatever decision it is that you need to make. You've got all the tools that you need to move forward. Just that you're wearing a blindfold, and you need to take the blindfold off. You need to have your eyes looking all around you. If you blinkered, you'll only see in one direction, and you need all of the opinions, you need all of the research, you need all the knowledge of different sides. Don't just accept one side and say, oh yeah, that's right. Even if you hear opinions and a different side, a different perspective of something, don't just wipe it off and say, oh no, I don't agree with that. You need to listen, and you need to get each side, you need to get all the information, not just one part of it. You can't make any decision based on one part, one opinion. The only person that you're hurting when you do that is yourself. So with the blindfold as well, another thing I'm seeing here, if you speak to people who have got a sight impairment, they will tell you it often makes their other senses a lot more or a lot stronger. So maybe this is telling you that maybe your sight in some things is doing very well. Maybe it's your other senses that you need to use rather than just your sight. So start listening to other people. Like I say, get other opinions. So listening, hearing is one of the senses you can use. Smell and taste are linked, and you can often um, smell an atmosphere. Sometimes you can smell something quite nice, and you know the atmosphere is quite relaxed. Like when you go outside and you're breathing in the fresh air, especially if people are cutting grass or something. Hopefully you don't have any allergies, but sometimes when you breathe it in, it gives you that really nice smell, and it makes you just feel better because you smell nature. So that's another sense that you can use, and of course touch as well is another one, and your intuition. Your intuition and seeing through your third eye. So even when you're blindfolded, sometimes you can actually pick things up from your third eye. Meditation can help with that, especially if you do it a lot. And so try to get your other senses trained as well as your eyesight. But now, as I said, you've got all the tools you need to make decisions. You've got all the tools you need to progress in life. And the cat uses its tail. You see the way its tail's standing upright there? Cats use their tail as a greeting. They also can use their tail as a rudder and for balance. So you've got these tools within you as well. That's what this card is saying to you. And balance, keeping the scales of justice in balance, or balance between warring factions, balance between choices, balance between getting all your information together about something. Balance is very important. If you look at the two swords as well, they're exactly the same height. They're balanced, standing upright. If they weren't balanced, that rope that the cat is walking on would not be as straight and as secure as what it is. And again, security is another thing, that you are more secure than you realise. that rope is tied to those two swords. They're standing very upright. There doesn't seem to be any leaning. There doesn't seem to be any wobbling between them. If there was, that rope would not be so tight. So as I say, that tells me you're more secure than what you actually realise. Okay, so that's card number 2, and I hope you like that card. And come back next week again for the next one. That's card number 2. I'm just going on to card number 3 now. This is the ancient Egyptian deck by Clive Barrett. Okay, what we got? 5 of Wands. Okay, for people who chose number 3, we've got the 5 of Wands for you. Okay, so I would see this card as being a card of advice, of either you giving people advice or somebody giving you advice, and not just advice either, it's also teaching. So look at all those people you've got there. You've got, well, 5 people there. It's almost like a very small regiment or a class. It could be that you're studying, or it may be that you train people, or you're in a training group. But it's some kind of knowledge that either you're giving to someone or someone is giving to you. Looking at that card, and they're quite regimented. There's one at the front there standing out, leading them. But as they're quite regimented, so there's a lot of order, there's a lot of organisation, structure to the whole thing. So maybe you're a person who likes structure, who likes the organisation, planning. You like everything in its place, which is quite an earthy sign attitude to have. Place for everything and everything in its place. It's very Virgoan. Wands, of course, is a fire sign, which is activity, and that is a group of people marching towards a common goal. So maybe you're into a club or a society or something that is going towards a common goal, something to probably to help humanity, looking at that, because it's about advice, teaching people, assistance, passing on knowledge. And another thing that I'm coming up with looking at that card as well is writing. Those spears they're holding, it's almost like pens. So those of you who chose card number 3, have you tried writing? Whether it's an article or whether it's for a book. Maybe that's a talent that you've got hidden inside that you need to bring to the fore. These guys seem well prepared. Maybe this writing thing that I've just felt, maybe this is something that you wanted to do for a while, and you've got the tools to do it, but just haven't sat down to actually begin. Well, maybe now's the time to start planning, start organising, structuring. As I say, this card shows me structure, the way they're all standing there, marching. So maybe that's just something that you need to do to get to this to the fore, some kind of structuring, with any project that you're doing, whether it's writing or whether it's artwork or something else, or even training other people, or you going into a training course yourself, or some kind of study. Maybe you need to get your structure right, your organization right. You got quite a few people in the background there. Um, yeah, you can probably see the three stages there of people in the background. Uh, One of the other things I'm getting from that card: beware of gossip. And whether this is gossip that you're doing, or whether it's somebody else that is gossiping to you or even about you, be very careful, because it's something that's going to backfire big time. And so if it comes to you talking about somebody else, just be very careful what you're saying, whether um, just, just realize that sometimes what other people are doing is their personal data that you could be sharing, so be very careful with that. And also, if you're hearing other people, if other people are coming to you telling you about somebody else, just be aware as well that they could be sharing another person's personal data with you. Don't get involved, don't allow somebody to drag you into it. That, as I say, it will backfire. And if people are doing it to you, standing up in a corner, having a whisper, we've all seen it, we've all been there, we've all heard it, whether it's about ourselves or somebody else. We've all seen these gossip mongers trying to cause problems for other people. So if they're doing that to you, if you find out that they're sharing your personal data, could be anything, could be your personal circumstances, your medical information, personal information about relationships or anything like that. It's personal information they're sharing, they can't do it. There are many laws in many countries around the world now saying that personal data should not be shared unless you give consent. If you've not given your consent, well, put a stop to it. As simple as that. But also, as I say, don't get roped into doing it about somebody else. Be very careful. Some people just want to try and cause trouble, and a good way of them causing trouble is to get somebody else to do their dirty work. So for those of you who chose card number 3, be very careful of that. Don't allow other people to get you roped into something that you do not need. Stick Sticking to what I was just saying as well about the gossiping. Now, if you look at this card, just bring it closer, you can see they've got shields. You see that at the back? And those shields are on their left hand side. The left hand side is often associated with the dark path, shall I say, and gossiping and trying to cause trouble is all on the left hand side. So they're wearing a shield there. This is like protection. So again, I'm seeing there that you need to be protected. Some crystals will do that for you. I've got so a couple of good ones are black tourmaline and black obsidian, very good for protection, especially psychic shields. You can get necklaces, you can get a piece of stone, you can get a bracelet, anything like that. You can keep a small stone in your purse or your pocket, your wallet. So those are a good protection. Hematite is another good protection as well. And also to keep yourself grounded. As you see, these guys here are walking barefoot on the land, and that is a good way of keeping yourself grounded, to walk barefoot. But also the crystals, the black stones, red stones, and some green stones are also very good for grounding. Red jasper is quite a nice one. Obsidian's very good for grounding as well, and a green aventurine, although that's a bit softer. Okay, so you've got your protection there. Okay, another thing I'm seeing with this card, for those of you chose card number 3, um, if you need to go and sort something out, especially if it's something that has made you angry, something that you don't agree with, get other people with you as well. It's going to be a lot easier for you if you do things in numbers rather than just on your own. Look at the protests that have been going on around the country, around the world actually, in different places with the lockdowns and things like that. It's far more effective the more there are of you than if it's just one person. Although one person can make themselves heard, they have to go through a lot of different channels to do that. They can't just do it just on their own, just by speaking to one other person or just by shouting in one place. They use social media, they use all sorts of things, videos, cameras, and all sorts of stuff to make their voices heard. But when you've got a group of people, it's so much easier. So if you need to sort something out, if you need to sort something, especially at schools and things like that, with your kids, then get other parents involved as well. And that's just something that's come to me recently, or well, just actually. With schools, there are things going on in certain schools up and down the country at the moment where parents need to get together and say, look, we're not accepting this. You need to put it right. I believe there are some schools in the US where the parents got together and got rid of all the governors of the school and voted in new governors. But it's parents that have got the the say on these things. There would be no school if you all took your kids out. They'd have to close the school. So if the school's doing something that isn't to your liking, get the parents to back you, right? When there's a load of you doing something, a load of you putting your foot down and saying, no, we ain't having this, they have to back down. So if your schools are doing something where you feel that your children are maybe being threatened by certain procedures at the moment, I'm sure you can all guess what I'm talking about, then do something about it. Don't just sit there. Do something about it. Find other people, other parents who are in the same mind as yourself. Get together and do something about it. Be like these 5 guys here on the march. Put your foot down. Get your shields in place. And go tell people you're not having it. And I say schools because again, this card I often see as being a card of teaching, advice, things like that. So school would come under this card. And as I say, there are things happening with some schools at the moment in the UK, which are not very nice. But I think this is going on around the world. But the more people put their foot down and say, I'm not having it, I'm not prepared to live like that, I'm not prepared to allow you to treat my family, my children in that manner, or me in that manner, then they've got to do something about it, haven't they? They've got to back down. Remember, you've got the right to say these things. The people of this country vote the government in. The government does not work for themselves. They are our servants, not the other way around. We need to remember that. And this is the same with the shops, with the schools, with colleges, universities, anything like that. They may have their rules and regulations, fine, but they're trying to bring in a lot of things which are nothing to do with their rules and regulations. They're to do with prejudice and discrimination. So if you don't like it, go put a stop to it. Simple as that. Okay, so that's card number 3. I hope you like that card for those of you who picked number 3. Okay, it's a bit of a war card. No, actually, no, I'm not telling anybody to go to war. But don't be afraid to fight for your rights, basically. Okay, so card number 3. Join me next week again, or whenever I put one on the show. If you subscribe, it will tell you when I've published another video. So click subscribe. Share if you want to share as well. Leave me a like if you enjoyed your card that you chose. And join me next time. Okay, so thank you for joining me this time. And I'll see you soon. Bye.